Hello friends, welcome to the series. We are targeting essay paper 2018 mains examination, and now I am here with the topic which was asked in 2017 mains examination, and it goes like fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. And in introduction part, as we always doing, we take the keywords from the topic and explain those keywords in introduction part. So here also you will write that new woman, that is woman of new age, particularly since later part of 20th century. During this time, industrialization was completed in West, and most of nations were independent, and men were seen dominant in every walk of life. Then there came concept of new woman when fewer women were making their mark in so-called men-dominated society. Now coming to body part, as I have already told you, I have mentioned here in the bullet form because this is PPT, but in actual essay paper you won't use this bullet form and you will write only paragraph. You will make paragraph from these bullet form, and each bullet will convert into one paragraph. So in first paragraph you will say that in terms of India, equal rights to women were given right since independence, and this was achievement in its own kind, as even in West it took lots of struggle for women to acquire equal political rights as that of men. In next paragraph you will say that Constitution of India is specific for women empowerment, and it reflects from various articles of Constitution: universal adult suffrage, and directive principle of state policy, fundamental rights and fundamental duties are depicting equal rights to women. Next paragraph you will say participation of women in political and social affairs is seen since Aryan and Vedic ages, when women were allowed to take part in politics and were allowed to inherit property. They were also given responsibilities in government. Participation of women in public affairs is also seen during social reforms movement in India. In early part of 19th century, when women like Pandita Ramabai, Savitribai Phule, Tarabai Shinde, Anandibai Joshi were active. Rajaram Mohan Roy of Brahmo Samaj and Mahatma Phule of Satyashodak Samaj were protagonists of women welfare and empowerment. During freedom struggle, when Sarojini Naidu, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Matambir Kaji Kama, etc. were active. This highlights women welfare and empowerment has significant history in India. Since independence, active role of women was seen when women became CM, chief ministers and even prime minister. Women started seeing significant number in public services. A real push for from government for women empowerment seen when women were given reservation in local self-government. Participation of women in late 20th century, early 21st century is seen when women like Indira Nooyi, CFO President of PepsiCo, Naina Lal Kidwai, country head of HSBC India, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, owner of Biocon in India, Indu Jain, chairman Times Group, etc. were on prominent position in corporate world. Rise of self-help groups and women cooperative movement, particularly since past decade, have given more space for women in economic sphere. Presence of women have gone up in public areas. They contributing to nation building, right from agricultural wage worker to highest functionary in government and private sector. Situation, however, have changed from emancipation of women to welfare of women over a period of time. And now it's phase of empowerment of women. Empowerment of women depicts that step further than setting aside women from her traditionally restricted and household domain of facilitating her to work, earn, and play decisive role in family and public domain. India have been successful in ascertaining empowerment of women, particularly since late 20th century to till date. Concept of new woman since late 20th century is not only being talked but also have been given tangible outcome. However, there needs a lot to be done to reach last woman of society and to make her aware of her emancipation, welfare, and finally empowerment. This is being seen from various statistics and reports on status of women in current age. Even today, women have to go through social conflict and ideological struggle. Even today, women have difficulty to overcome patriarchal hegemony, and there is obvious marginalization of women from decision making. Even when there is reservation for women in local self-government, mostly decisions are taken by their husbands. It is fact that even today we have to make collective efforts for empowering women from marginalization. We had observed year 2001 as Women's Empowerment Year, and the fact that there needs to observe such year itself says that lot is to be done for women empowerment. There are several initiatives from government for empowerment of women. To name some, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Kasturba Gandhi Bal Vidyalaya, Family Counseling Center, Domestic Violence Act, condensed courses of education for women, Sri Shakti Puraskar, Indira Gandhi Matritva Sahyog Yojana, Swadhar Scheme, Ujjwala Scheme, etc. Having all said and done, literacy among male is 82% and among female is 65%. India's sex ratio is 943, which is much below than developed countries. Child sex ratio is 919 in India. Women in India earn 25% less than men, proving that gender continues to be a significant parameter in determining salaries in India. India Development Report released by World Bank said the country had one of the lowest female participation in workforce, ranking 120th among 131 countries. What is worrisome is that fact the participation level has been dropping since 2005. Despite having 42% women who are graduates, jobs for Indian women remain primarily in agriculture sector. The share of women in services and industry is less than 20%. Regarding education, there is higher dropout rate of girls beyond standard 5th, showing that girls are primarily seen as homemaker, agriculture laborer. Early marriages even increases difficulty of women from coming out from traditional social structure. Child rearing is primarily seen as responsibility of women. This is even seen from the fact that women get 6 months of maternity leave and male get barely 2 weeks of paternity leave, even in government setup. If we see at poverty, then there is obvious feminization of poverty and all leftover jobs are offered to women. Woman not considered in even today's society to get educated and earn for herself, her parents and her husband and children. If at all women allowed to get educated and work, then she have to do all household work along with her job, and this increases sorrow of woman. Many women then backtrack from taking jobs because of this household chores. Situation of women from backward classes is further pitiable. Woman is just exploited in backward classes and left without any role in even household day-to-day decision making. Conclusion part, you'll say that still there is room for improvement and hope of light, and everything is not lost. Government here have to play biggest role along with active participation from civil society. It remains government's job to enact relevant laws and undertake appropriate schemes, and rather more important to implement this initiative in its letter and spirit for desired outcome. Civil society have to evaluate implementation of these initiatives and carrying out social audit of these initiatives. Coordinated efforts from government, civil society are needed in areas of safe motherhood, eliminating female feticide, promoting girls' education, right till graduation, reservation for girls in education and jobs, promotion of property rights in the name of women are just to name some among many. Even today, there is glass ceiling which prevents women in India to get empowered and reach to highest echelons. These minority of women who are limited to few well-educated families from metropolitan cities do not and cannot represent the downtrodden woman entangled in orthodox mindset and poverty. Hence, fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. So friends, this is how you will approach this essay, and I'll be there to you with another video with another topic. Thank you.